Hello, brothers and sisters. Today I wanted to talk about a topic of repentance. And I think some Christians, myself included, that sometimes we think repentance is just going to God and saying, I'm sorry. But in my opinion, after reading the Bible, I realized that repentance is a lot more than just saying, I'm sorry to God. And I wanted to read from Hosea 6 to get into this topic a little more in depth. So I'm in Hosea 6, and I'm starting from verse 4. It says, What can I do with you, Ephraim? What can I do with you, Judah? Your love is like the morning mist, like the early dew that disappears. Therefore I cut you in pieces with my prophets. I killed you with the words of my mouth. Then my judgments go forth like the sun. For I desire mercy, not sacrifice, and acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offerings. So when we read that right there, those first couple verses, I wanted to highlight the last verse where it says that God desires mercy and sacrifice and not just offerings. If you didn't know, in the Old Testament, through Moses in the book of Leviticus, Moses established the way that the Jewish people had to atone for their sins. They would find an animal, put their sins on the animal, and kill it, and then they would be clean in the eyes of the Lord. The problem with that is that at that time, when the book of Hosea is written, that these people in Ephraim and Judea, they were treating these sacrifices as like a get out of jail free card. They would sin, find an animal, kill it, and then continue to do the bad things that they were doing. And that angered God because the whole point of an offering was that it would clean you spiritually and you'd be cleanly in the eyes of the Lord. But the idea is that after you did that, you would try to change your actions. And that's where my idea of repentance gets in, because repentance isn't just saying, I'm sorry. Repentance is a change of mind and a change of heart. It's deeper than just apologizing to God. Obviously, we're not going to be perfect. We're going to have our moments. But if, let's say, I'm struggling with lying and I lied to my friend on Monday, and then I go to God, I said, God, I'm sorry I lied to my friend. I was in a bad spot. I had to tell him a lie. Then on Tuesday, I lied to another friend, and I say, God, I'm sorry I lied. Then on Wednesday, I lie again, and I say, God, I'm sorry I lied. The problem with me continuously going to God for forgiveness after lying every single day isn't isn't wrong to go to God to ask forgiveness, but the fact that I'm not changing shows that I don't really mean my apology. And there's not true repentance in that. If, let's say, on Monday I lied to my friend, and then for a couple months I made sure that I didn't lie, and then I did slip up again, and I told God I'm sorry. That's more of what God would want us to do and more in line with repentance, because after I lied, I tried my best to change. I did fall again. Eventually, I lied, but in my heart and in my ways, I showed God that I cared about and understood that what I did was wrong when I lied. And I actively went out of my way to stop lying. And that's more of what repentance is. And that's why God desires mercy and sacrifice, because you have to go out of your way to change your heart before God. And I think that's more of what repentance is really about. Thank you for listening.